George was 41 years old. Every morning at 6 a.m., he climbed into an old white truck that smelled like vanilla and engine oil. He drove the same streets, played the same song from the same broken speaker, sold the same ice cream to the same children in the same small town. From the outside, it looked simple, but inside, George carried something heavy, something he never talked about. If you enjoy real stories about ordinary people who find the courage to change their lives, consider subscribing. There are more stories like this one waiting for you. George was not lazy. He worked hard every single day. But every night he sat in that truck after the last sale and looked at his notebook. Inside that notebook was a dream he had written down 7 years ago. A small ice cream shop with his name on the door, a place where families could sit down, laugh, and stay a while. He had the idea, he had the passion, he even had a little savings. But every time Monday came, he told himself he would start next week. Next week became next month. Next month became next year. 7 years passed. The notebook never changed. George did not lack talent. He lacked one thing, the decision to begin. One afternoon, an old man named Mr. Maurice flagged down the truck. He bought a small cone and sat on a bench nearby. George joined him for a moment. Mr. Maurice looked at the truck and then looked at George. He said something George never forgot. He said, "George, ice does not wait." George laughed and asked what he meant. Mr. Maurice pointed to the cone in his hand. "The moment I stop eating this, it starts to melt. It does not care about my plans. It does not wait for a good time. Every second I delay, I lose more of it." Then he looked George straight in the eyes. "Your dream is the same. Every day you wait, it melts a little more. Not because life is unfair, but because time does not pause for people who are not ready." George drove home slowly that evening. He could not stop thinking about a melting ice cream cone. That Saturday, a young girl named Sheila ran to the truck. She was maybe 9 years old. She held out her coins and asked for the biggest cone ye had. George handed it to her with a smile. But before she walked away, she looked up at him and said, "Mister, why do you always look sad when you drive?" George froze. A 9-year-old saw what he had been hiding for years. He sat in that truck for a long time after she left, and he opened the notebook. He read his own dream in his own handwriting, and for the first time in 7 years, he felt ashamed. Not of who he was, but of who he had been allowing himself to stay. That night, George understood something real. The problem was never money. It was never the right time or the right conditions. The problem was that he kept waiting to feel ready. But readiness is not a feeling that comes before you start. It is a feeling that comes because you started. One decision does not change your whole life in a day, but one decision changes the direction of your life forever, and direction is everything. George did not quit his truck. He kept selling ice cream every day, but he made one decision. Every evening after his last sale, he spent 30 minutes working on his plan. Just 30 minutes. He researched small shop rentals in town. He wrote down costs. He called one person who had opened a small business before and asked questions. He did not do everything. He did one thing, every day, consistently. Some nights he was tired. He did it anyway. Some nights nothing felt like it was moving. He kept going anyway. Discipline is not doing what is easy. It is doing what matters when nothing around you is pushing you forward.
8 months later, George signed a rental agreement for a small space on the main road of that same small town. It was not big, it was not fancy, but it had a door. And on that door, he put a small sign with his name on it. On opening day, Sheila walked in with her mother. She looked around with big eyes and then looked at George. She said, "You do not look sad anymore." George smiled, not because everything was perfect, but because he had finally stopped waiting for perfect. Somewhere tonight, there is a notebook with your dream inside it. Maybe it has been sitting there for 2 years, maybe 7, maybe more. And the only thing standing between you and that dream is one decision. Not 100 steps, not a perfect plan. One decision, one discipline, one new life. If this story moved something in you, subscribe to this channel, because every week we bring you stories about real people who chose to stop waiting and start becoming. This is not just a channel, it is a place where minds are strengthened and habits are rebuilt. Come back for the next story. Bring someone who needs it too. If this story spoke to you, like it so someone else can find it. Share it with one person who is sitting on a dream right now. And subscribe, because the best version of you is built one story, one decision, and one disciplined day at a time. Do not wait until tomorrow. The ice cream is already melting. Start today.